And following Elliot's music, Carl, you've got Vadym Kholodenko joining the orchestra for Prokofiev's third piano concerto. Prokofiev, doggone him, he writes melodies that, it's like Mahler. He writes these melodies that come into your chest and turn your heart and then just pull it out. He does it in the slow movement of the Fifth Symphony. He does it a dozen times in Romeo and Juliet, and he does it in the final movement of the Prokofiev third. Oh my goodness, that third piano concerto has a melody in there that is just heartrending and very
Well,
difficult for the pianist.
well, you know, Vadym and the orchestra, we also have a long relationship. Uh, he was our soloist right after he won in 2013 the gold medal in the Van Cliburn competition. He came to perform with Pacific Symphony almost immediately, and maybe even one of his early concerts right after winning that coveted prize. And so it was a love made in heaven right away. I mean, it was just, our music making spirits just go together so beautifully, and he's such a great pianist. And, you know, we're going to hear the whole, of course, the whole concerto, but in this little clip that we're going to hear from Vadym is the slow movement going into the coda of the finale. And, you know, this was written in 1921. So when Elliot was just now talking about World War I and all the war of 1917 and 18 in Russia and all this stuff, this was really a time of great turmoil. And of course, he had been to America. He spent time in France. And that's why you hear all these incredible colors that almost sound impressionistic or French in a certain way. And of course, he died March 5th, 1953, which was unfortunate for him because it was the exact same day that Joseph Stalin died. And of course, Stalin's death took the whole, actually it took every flower. There wasn't flowers for Prokofiev's grave, for his casket. Actually, women were making flowers out of paper to adorn. I mean, it was an amazing day for composing and for music in Russia, because all of a sudden then composers like Shostakovich and his friends could then start writing music that they were afraid to have before. But Prokofiev is certainly a great, great composer, and everyone loves hearing this particular concerto.
And so from these concerts, you'll hear the entire concerto tonight, but here's just the last 3 minutes or so of the performance. So you actually get to watch Vadym at the piano. So a little bit of the Prokofiev Piano Concerto number 3 coming to you live during this pre-concert, and here it goes.
Wow.
What a concert this is, you know? It just strikes me. I mean, with Elliot's piece and this and the Beethoven Seventh, great
Well,
concert.
and you should know that for every time we have piano, we have the iMac, so that everybody can, regardless of where you're sitting in the hall, you get to see the keyboard and views of the pianist, you know, up close and perfect. Because if you're sitting on this side of the hall, you don't get to see just the head of the pianist bobbing up and down. But this is something that we started doing. It's been met with a great deal of enthusiasm from all of our audience members, because it gives you a chance of not only hearing a great pianist and a fantastic orchestra, but also a visual content as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
if concert halls were like ships, when it came to a concerto for piano, the hall would be listing, you know, to the left, because everyone wants to sit on this side so they can see the keyboard, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's such a joy to play with him, and he's so committed and such an honest artist. And of course, he wanted to be with us, but as I think you said earlier in the show, he's in Europe right now, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
or
that
3,
seems more than is reasonable to ask.
yeah, it's 3:30 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but you'll get to hear the whole concerto, the first, second move. They're all, every note, every measure is just a delight. So I'm so happy he joined us.
Fun fact, by the way, the first performance did not take place in Moscow or St. Petersburg or anything like that. It was in Chicago.
Yeah,
Chicago.
with Prokofiev. Well, and also Prokofiev played the concerto. So this gives you an idea of what a virtuoso, not only as a composer, but that Sergei Prokofiev was as a pianist himself.
Yeah. So,
and by the way, you know, Prokofiev did not enter the United States through normally like New York, you know, all of these places. He came first of all to San Francisco.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. He was he made such a splash because he was this lean, lank, ungangly looking person, and then sat down at the piano and just, you know, blew everyone away. An unlikely looking virtuoso at the piano.